something is happening in Knoxville. Every day, people are moving here. California, from New York, from Illinois, families, remote workers, retirees. Some are coming for affordability, others are coming for quality of life. And when they start looking for homes, most buyers focus on the obvious things. Price, square footage, finishes. But the things that often matter most once you live in the home are the details buyers don't always notice right away. So today I'm going to walk you through 6 things worth understanding when you're evaluating homes in the Knoxville area. Some of these things are unique to East Tennessee, and others are things buyers tend to overlook during the search process. One thing buyers often underestimate here is topography. Knoxville is fairly hilly, which means many homes sit on sloped lots. Sometimes it's subtle, but it can affect how the property actually works. A backyard might look large in photos, but if much of it slopes away from the house, the usable space for pets, kids, and outdoor living may be a lot smaller than what you're seeing online. Slope can also affect driveway and drainage, which are both common considerations in this area. Privacy is another factor, especially in new construction communities where lot sizes are often under 2/10 of an acre. That doesn't mean those homes aren't great. Many are beautiful and located in fantastic neighborhoods, but it's worth asking, does the yard work for how you plan to use it? Is there space for kids or pets? Could landscaping help create more privacy? Photos show the house, but they rarely show how the lot actually lives. Another thing that varies across Knoxville neighborhoods is how the streets function day to day. Pay attention to driveway length, garage capacity, and whether homes rely on street parking. In some communities, homes sit further back from the road, and garages comfortably hold 2 or 3 vehicles. That keeps cars off the street and traffic flows easily. In other neighborhoods, garages may be smaller and driveways shorter. When that happens, more vehicles end up parked along the street. You often see this difference when comparing older neighborhoods like in Farragut with newer construction in places like Hardin Valley. Many newer communities offer large, modern homes with more square footage and updated layouts, sometimes at price points that are hard to find in the older areas. So it really comes down to understanding the trade-offs and how the neighborhood will feel when you actually live there. Flood risk is another question that comes up more often than you think, especially since Knoxville is known for its lakes and waterways. Many buyers notice the flood risk score on sites like Zillow. Those scores are based on predictive models that estimate future potential flood risk. They use weather pattern, elevation, and other data. They can be helpful as general indicators, but they can also create unnecessary concern because they're attempting to predict long-term risk. The most important thing to check is the house's FEMA flood zone designation, which is what lenders and insurance companies are using. It's also worth noting that most homes in the Knoxville area are not located in FEMA flood zones, even if they're relatively close to the water. So if you see a higher flood score online, doesn't necessarily mean the home is in a regulated flood zone. The key is simply verifying the FEMA designation. Radon is another topic that buyers do not ask about enough. Radon is a naturally occurring gas that forms in soil and rock. It can enter homes through your foundation or crawl spaces. Long-term exposure to elevated levels has been linked to lung cancer. East Tennessee is an area where radon can be more common. The test is not very expensive and it's easy to add as part of your home inspection. But the important thing to note is that radon is usually very manageable. If levels come back low, there's nothing to worry about. If they come back higher than recommended, mitigation systems can vent the gas safely away from the home. Some houses already have these systems installed. They can typically be added without major expense. So radon is something to be aware of, but it's rarely a deal breaker. Here's another detail that surprises buyers in new communities. Many newer neighborhoods don't have individual mailboxes at each home. Instead, they use centralized cluster mailbox where residents collect their mail from a shared station. This isn't tied to the price of the home. It's most relative to when the neighborhood was built. Packages are usually still delivered directly to the home. So for most people, it isn't as big. So don't worry, your Amazon package will still make it to your door. But for some buyers who prefer a traditional mailbox, it's something worth knowing ahead of time. Finally, it's helpful to understand the difference between living inside the city of Knoxville or outside the city in Knox County. Homes inside the city pay both city and county taxes, but receive services like city police, fire protection, and trash pickup. Homes outside the city limits usually pay lower taxes, but some services work differently. One example is fire protection. In many county areas, Fire protection is provided through a subscription service, and it's called Rural Metro Fire. The annual fee is typically around $400 to $600. Homeowners aren't required to subscribe, but if emergency service is needed and the home isn't enrolled, the homeowner may be responsible for the fire response cost. It's just one of those local details that's helpful to understand when choosing where to live. Knoxville continues to attract people from all over the country. For many buyers, it can be an incredible place to own a home, but the difference between a house that simply looks good online and one that truly works for your lifestyle often comes down to details like these. Understanding the lot and the neighborhood layout, environmental factors, and how local services work can help you make a better decision. If you're thinking about buying in the Knoxville area and want help to evaluate neighborhoods or homes, we're always happy to walk through those details with you.